Hey internet people, we are going to be working on the KZ today. I put, some miles on it and it's got a bit of an oil leak, so we're going to have to go through and take a look, see if we can determine exactly where the oil is coming from and fix the problem. Alright, so as you can see, we've got some oil there, we've got some oil down there, so we know oil's coming from here. There's two common places that you get oil leaks from. One is the cam end cap right here. This guy, if it's not sealed well, it'll just drip oil out of there, and it can drip oil out of the bottom of the bolt hole that's not capped off, so oil gets in the gasket a little bit and just drips right down those threads. The other spot is here, between the head and the cylinder block. This, you can kind of see it, is the oil return passage. There's an O-ring that sits between there, and in this particular case I have blocked that off with an O-ring that is not OEM. The OEM O-rings have a cross section that is like oval shaped, like a NASCAR track, and they're about 10 bucks a piece, so replacing all four would have been 40 bucks. I just did the back two, and the front two. One of the common fixes is to just plug it up with an O-ring that's bigger than both the passage and the gap between the head and the block. Hopefully we're not leaking from there, because I don't want to take the head back off. This up here is a pretty easy fix. Take the valve cover off, get in there real good, close it back up. The reason it leaks from here is, as the bike's leaning, that's the lowest point in the bike, right? So it just drips out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it all up, and I'm going to let the engine idle for a while, and we're just going to keep an eye on the spots and see where we're at. I also noticed while I'm down here, we've got our exhaust studs are kind of sticking out a little bit, so I'm going to knock those back in and put a new nut on there. So we'll get all this taken care of today. I figure I should actually start on the exhaust studs first, just because that's going to get toasty while the bike's sitting, so we're going to do that. We have a neat tool at our disposal here. This is a stud installer. Inside there's a ball bearing, and that is kept into place with this Allen screw insert. So when you put it onto your stud only goes so far into it, and it binds up. To loosen it, you just loosen the threaded insert, and that releases the ball bearing from the back end of the stud. You can spin this off with no problems. I'll show you guys how this works, and we'll get those studs back in there and everything tightened up right. I'm going to start with this bottom guy first, if I can. Might have to get creative with this one, just because when you've got these collars loose, it's kind of hard to get everything back in place. So we're going to start with this guy. That's all tied up in there. Okay. I don't think I can quite get my socket on there. Let me grab the wrench. Alright. Let's get this guy on here. That feels as tight as that's going to go. We'll go ahead, break that loose. That should let us pull this off with some ease. Boom, there you go. Oh no, I dropped it in the exhaust. Well, at least the 4-to-1. Oh my lord. Okay, let's get that nut back on there. Then we'll tackle the other one. This one should be easier. The other one should be easier because it doesn't have the exhaust pipe in the way. At least for getting the other way. Come on. Come on. There we go. That's looking a little better. Nice and tight there. Okay. Let's put this guy off. If we can. I think the brake line's in the way. There we go. That guy off. Look how loose that is. Wiggle, wiggle. Put this on there. Oh man. It's almost like that exhaust pipe is too close. Look, I can barely spin that. Well, I was hoping to get the socket on there, but that's not going to happen. I jinxed myself is what I did. Oh, that's even worse. What a pain in the butt. Alright, yeah, right there. Let's see if we can get this from different ways. There we go. That's on there. Let's pop this dude. Maybe. There it goes. Okay. Ugh. And back off. Didn't I say today's episode was taking things off and putting them back together? That's basically all today is. Alright. There we go. Now let's go ahead. Get that nut back on there. Exhaust pipe is centered. That's good. Get that somewhat tight. Get this guy tight too. Ugh. Okay. Done. On to the next. Move this guy back over here. Y'all are going to keep an eye on this for me. Well, I'm going to watch it too, but you know. And I do have a fan set up behind me to help blow some cold air over the motor so it doesn't just idle overheat.
once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room. And damn, what a hell of a view. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date, you're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight. Don't waste time to my place. I feel my heart erase. So catch me if I fall. Praying that this night's gonna last. You got it all on tap, I'm loving your vibe, always have your back. We like all the same tracks, listen all night in the shade.
That was, I don't know, like 20 minutes of idling. Let's see what we can see. It appears there is some cooling right there. It's hard to tell where that came from though, but you can tell there's new oil under the cam end cap. And then down below, I know you guys can't really see it, here, through the magic of flipping you upside down, I don't really see any new oil there. There is some shininess of oil, but I don't know if that's just from oil that's stripped down above or where that came from. I think we'll start with the obvious. Seal those guys back up. So let's see how quickly we can take this back apart.
Said I'm falling fast, don't remember life before you, that's facts. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date, you're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight. Don't waste time to my place. I feel my heart erase. So catch me if I fall.
Okay, that is all off, and as you can see, like I was saying, that's the low point. So all the oil goes right there and just drops right down, which is why it's so hard to tell if this is leaking or not, because the oil from here will just drip down and get on there anyway. So sometimes you have to fix this in order to see if that is leaking. But we're going to get this all cleaned up. I'm also going to do some inspection on this valve lobe and the shim here. This is what was giving me trouble with my web cam. So I just want to make sure there's not a recurring issue there. And yeah. Okay. I put the bike on hold for a minute because some stuff happened to the bike and it was frustrating. So, you know, take a step back. Basically what happened is I was checking out our shim and valve here because like I said, this one had an issue before with the shim cupping and the cam lobe also cupping out. So I wanted to pull it out. While I was doing that, the kickstand broke on me, which caused the whole bike to topple over. mashed up my stator cover on this side, oil and gas everywhere, broke my mirror. You know, just in general frustrating. No major damage really done other than, you know, scuff up here, some scuff here on the handlebar. Not too bad, but still, you know, quite frustrating. So I took a step back and said, I'll come back to this, mess with it later. With that being said, I believe I still have that issue with the cam. I don't know what it is, but this LED lighting has a black bar rolling through it, which is kind of annoying. It's like a 60 hertz scan or something. Anyway, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. There is some cupping going on here on this wonderful shim. So we've still got a problem. So I'm going to have to take the head off regardless of where that oil leak is. So let's go ahead and just do that. If you're wondering why the kickstand broke, it's because I had to shorten the kickstand, and the way I shortened it and reattached it wasn't welding. I don't have a welder, didn't have access to a welder when I did this, so yeah. Since spike sits lower than stock, and I relocated the kickstand from back here to up front, I had to shorten it by about, I don't know, 1.5 inches. What I did is I cut out my splice piece, and then I drilled and tapped both ends, and got some threaded rod, just threaded it back together, which worked for quite a while, but now I'm going to have to definitely weld it. I also need to move the spring mount tab, because you can see, because I shortened it, it doesn't mount in the same spot. So we'll find a welder, get that done. Alright, we've got this head pretty much to where we want it to be. Put this guy's out of the way. Here's our problematic intake valve. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to check it for any sort of weird wear or anything. I'd say it looks pretty normal to me, so I don't think that's our culprit. I'm going to flip this over just to take a peek at the underside. I don't see anything egregious there. ahead and retrieve my $10 a piece O-rings. And this guy here, I can reuse all those. We're losing the rest of the valve cups. That's okay. Well, not really, because we don't know what order they came out of. Let's put those back in there. And we're going to take them out and set them where they need to go. We'll do it like this. There. Where did you go? Ooh. Why is this one being a butt? Just gently pull up on this guy. Maybe spin it as we're pulling so it, ooh. Does not want to come out of there. I don't like that. But it spins free while it's in there. Nope. I'm gonna leave that guy alone, since that's not causing us a problem right now. What we need to do is get the valve keepers out of here so we can inspect the springs, make sure there's nothing like keeping the spring from compressing all the way, or who knows what. So what we have to do is we have to put something to hold the intake valve in while pressing down on the spring and retaining access to the keepers. So those keepers are kind of a pain to get to. And of course, Kawasaki has a specialty clamp just for that, but we're not Kawasaki, so we've got our own sort of device. Okay, so here's what we have. Got ourselves a C-clamp and a socket that I have cut the side out of. That fits nice and perfect on top of there. So we're going to clamp that down and see if we can get to those valve keepers. While trying not to drop everything everywhere. Let's see. Okay. Slip this guy over here, and it barely fits our needs, but it works. this guy going in. Go. That lined up. There we go. And I don't know if you can see there, so I'll give you a zoom shot. Womp. But you can see there's our keepers. Now we can simply come in here with tweezers and try and pull those guys out. Sometimes they spin around, do all sorts of funny stuff. They can be a pain, but usually as long as you can get to them, you can get them out of there. Usually. Let's set y'all back over here. Here we go, got her. Okay, let's ease off our clamp here. Okay. One thing I'm going to check for is to see if this spring retention cap is bottoming out on the valve guide. I don't think we are. If that were the case, this valve seal right up in there would be trashed, and it does not look bad. Let's go ahead and pop our valve out here. Oop. Maybe. Let's tighten that guide. But it's coming. I'll give it a little love. There we go. Looks pretty okay to me. I do wonder though, that being so tight in there, maybe that was causing our problem. Set that to the side. Let this bad guy back over this way. Take a look. We want to make sure that guide is good. These are all new valves, all new valve guides, so there shouldn't be an issue with it. But it being so tight in there, maybe that's a problem. But I also wonder, mosquitoes are back. I had to take down the top of these because they were pushing up on the caps and the shims too far. And that was causing some issues with the gaps not being correct. So maybe that's all it is just that little bit being a little bit wider from where I cut it off. So we can fix that pretty easy. Just take one of these small files. Just rasp the hard edge off of it. Now, I'm pretty sure this is why I have a rotary tool. Got ourselves a nice shiny new rotary tool because somebody stole my other one out of the garage along with the rest of my power tools a couple months back. Jerks. Just drop one of these little dudes up on here. Now she slides right in there. Pretty sure that wasn't the problem, because the valve should not be coming out that far during operation anyway. So the question is, why? If y'all know the answer, please tell me, because I'm at a loss. Speaking of losses, new head gasket time. I think I've used up all my spare ones. Oh good lord. Yeah. Don't think I should reuse this one. Oh good lord. Keep your workspace clean, folks. Don't be like me. I'm a mess. I at least found the problem of the oil leak. It definitely was coming from between the head. This is that O-ring up in the front. It apparently did not squish too well when I put the head on, and just kind of, I don't know, died. So you can tell it doesn't have a flat mating surface there where it should. It's just dead. So we solved that mystery. The next mystery I was thinking about was well, so it felt like it has a little bit too much play this way, right? There's a little bit of play that way. But this guy has just as much play and it wasn't a problem. Well, let's pull this back out. So what about you is killing my camshafts? take a look at the cam. These are nice and pretty. And this guy, it's all tore up. All tore up there. Let's see if it's still at least somewhat flat. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There we go. Let's see, where are we at on the flatness scale? Yeah. It's not terrible, actually. It's a little bit of a curve to it, but not bad. Not like the other cam. It just ate that up. I mean, I don't even have to pull out the straight edge for you to see that that is not, well, straight. I don't know, internet. Do you have any ideas what would cause that on a cam? And it's just that one lobe. All the other lobes perfectly fine. Intake and exhaust, they're all fine. Just this one intake lobe just wants to eat it. We all saw nothing weird with the springs that I can tell. Valve is good. Valve seat's good. I'm speechless. I have no idea. If y'all have any ideas, please put it in the comments. I'm kind of at a loss until I get that figured out. No point in putting it back together until I know what the heck I'm doing to it. That's it for today. Thanks, internet people. Please don't forget, do the liking and the subscribing thing or whatever. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your foes. Alright. Peace.